Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Girls Athletic Leadership School. Let's give it up. Thank you for joining us today for this monumental day for the city of Denver, the state of Colorado, and for passionate sports fans everywhere. What a setting. I am so proud to look out here and to see 275 athletes from this school. Everybody that is not an athlete at this school, can we give it up for these young female student athletes? Well, I'm Jordan Angeli, and as always, I am so honored to be with you guys here today to share a new chapter in women's professional sports here in Denver. This city has long been the leader in supporting women's sports, and today we take another giant leap forward. Without further ado, I would like to welcome to the stage Gloria. Hold on, let me tell you a little about Gloria. I know, you guys are excited to see her, aren't you? All right, Gloria is an 8th grade student here at GALS, a school dedicated to empowering young youth women through education and athletics. She represents the future of soccer in this city and the next generation of leaders who will benefit from today's investment. All right, you guys are ready? All right, let's welcome Gloria Jordan.
Hi everyone, my name is Gloria Jordan and I'm an 8th grader at GALS. As a student here in Denver, it's incredible to see how much support there is for women's sports. For girls like me who love sports, this means we have role models right here in our city, athletes we can look up to and dream of becoming. This stadium and team show us that women's sports are growing and that Denver believes in giving girls opportunities. I play soccer with my friends, and we always talk about how it would be amazing to see a professional team in our city. Now that dream is becoming real, and I can't wait for our new Denver NWSL team. Yay. And I'm excited. Thank you to everyone who made this possible. You're inspiring a whole new generation of girls in Denver.
Good job. That was excellent. You did a wonderful job. Proud of you. 8th grade, and she just did that. That's pretty impressive, Gloria. Just thank you for your passion and your enthusiasm. It reminds us all, I think, why this is such an important day and why bringing professional women's soccer to Denver is so key. Next, I am honored to introduce to you someone who has been truly instrumental in making this vision of NWSL to Denver a reality. A champion for the city of Denver, an avid soccer lover. Please welcome Denver's Mayor, Mike Johnston.
Hello. It is so great to be here today. This is truly a day for Denver history. And for those of you girls who are students here, you are making history twice. Because I don't know if you know this, but for many of you, including those on the soccer team, you play outside on Nina Safane Field. My greatest claim to fame is that Nina Safane is a longtime friend of mine. She and I were co-workers when she first wrote up the idea for this school. She dreamed it with a team of amazing leaders. They created it, founded it, and you all attend what was the first ever all-girls public school in the state of Colorado. You made history. Now, you are here to make history again by welcoming the first professional women's sports franchise to Denver. And today, for unveiling the first ever dedicated women's professional sports stadium in the state of Colorado. Are you ready to see it? Yeah. You probably should get familiar with it because many of you will probably be playing in this stadium one day. So here we are, the future home site of Denver's first professional women's sports franchise. Are we ready, Rob?
Thank you, Mayor Johnston. Your commitment to Denver's future and the role that you've played in bringing women's professional soccer to Denver is something that we are so thankful for. So give it up one more time for him. It's time now to bring to stage someone who has really been instrumental to bringing this dream, really a dream for all of us young girls here from Colorado, to life. His leadership has propelled Denver NWSL forward, and today marks a historic milestone under his guidance. Please welcome Denver NWSL owner, Rob Cohen.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. Sure great to see all you girls down here. Thanks for coming. Thanks for joining us today. There's a fairly famous movie line. You guys know it, but it's pretty simple. If you build it, they will come. For those of you who may be too young to remember that movie, that's from the Field of Dreams, and today we're here to talk about our Field of Dreams, which is Santa Fe Yards. And so from the very first day, the ownership group for the Denver NWSL team, we've had a vision about creating something that's unique and different in our community that we think will be a game changer and will be impactful and transformative for our entire city. And at the heart of that was this concept of building a purpose-built stadium for women. It's one that's going to be designed by women, built by women, and for women. It's going to be family-friendly and really have a lot of amenities to it that really appeal to the entire fan base across the city and the state as well as the region. And this is a vision that wasn't only shared by us as the ownership group, but it was shared by the league, and it was ultimately shared by the mayor and the city. And that's why we worked so hard to try to find the perfect site to have this stadium. And I won't bore you with all the details, but we scoured the city to look at every single potential site that would make sense to have this team. But it didn't take us long until we started to hone in on Santa Fe Yards. And the reason for that was it checked all the boxes for us. First of all, it's at our urban core. So we wanted something that was accessible from every quadrant in the city, something that people could easily get to and from. It was a neighborhood in a place where we felt would have a great vibe on game day, but would also be something that we could activate 365 days a year. We wanted something that could be about community building and placemaking. And we really felt like this concept of a stadium in a park is very different than what you traditionally see, which is a stadium surrounded by concrete and asphalt. And by doing that, it allows us to do unique and different things at the stadium. Obviously, we can have sporting events and concerts and the things that you would expect to have at a stadium, but it allows us to do other things like have high school graduations or high school sporting events, farmers markets, art festivals. You could have road races that start and end in the park. And if you imagine a screen at the south end of the end zone that looks both ways, you could have movie night in the park for families. You could have yoga classes in the morning. So you can let your imagination go on and on about the activation. And if you then surround it by an entertainment district that includes restaurants, bars, and retail, then you've created placemaking and community building, which was really important to us. It's near mass transit. So obviously having a true TOD, a transit-oriented development, where people can get to the venue, they can walk there, they can bike there, they can take mass transit there, And of course, people will still drive there, but it will relieve the congestion, make it easier for fans on game days, and help out the neighborhoods. We wanted something that connected neighborhoods that today are divided by an interstate highway, a state highway, a river, and railroad tracks. And by creating placemaking where people can move from one neighborhood to the next by going through this park and this space, that created something that's unique and different. And we wanted something, obviously, that created economic development for the city and helped out. So we're super excited about the site. We're looking forward to engaging with the community in dialogue so that we can understand your thoughts, your concerns, so that we can incorporate that overall in our design as we make this project a reality. And at the end of the day, our goal is to create a long-lasting asset for our community, and one that will be the home to a championship level team where the best players in the world will be, the best fans in the world will be, in the best facilities in the world. And at the end of the day, what we want to create is an inclusive and welcoming environment that will be the best in all of professional sports. So with that, thank you. And we're going to take a quick selfie.
That was pretty smooth, Rob. The selfie, I liked it. Thank you, Rob. The investment, your investment in this team, in the stadium, it's not just about sports, and you can hear that when you're talking. It's about this community. It's about providing a platform for women to really feel seen and to have some equity in professional women's athletics. So thank you so much. I'd like to now introduce someone who knows firsthand what it means for the league and the people of Denver. A Denver product and the NWSL's Chief Operating Officer. Please help me welcome Sarah Jones-Simmer.
Oh, wow. It is just such an honor to be with you all today. It's an honor to share the stage with my fellow speakers. My name is Sarah Jones-Simmer, and I serve as the league's Chief Operating Officer. The Denver area is very near and dear to me. I have many extended family members who live here, and I was lucky enough to be able to bring my daughter with me today. It's an absolute honor to be here on behalf of the league as we celebrate what is truly a monumental moment, not just for Denver, but for women's sports everywhere. Today's announcement represents the largest private investment in the history of women's professional sports. That's worth applauding. And with that investment comes a bold and inspiring statement. Women's sports deserve world-class facilities, and players deserve to compete in environments that reflect the magnitude of their talent, their dedication, and professionalism. Santa Fe Yards will be more than a stadium. It will be a beacon for what's possible when a city, a community, and a league come together around a shared vision. This will be a purpose-built home for the incredible athletes that play in the NWSL, a destination for fans, and a thriving community hub that helps redefine the role of women's sports in shaping our cities and our culture. I had the opportunity to work closely with the NWSL's commissioner, Jessica Berman, and other senior leaders on our team in vetting expansion bids and considering the future of the NWSL. It's an exciting and multifaceted process where we consider many factors that are critical to a potential team's success. We look at the ownership group, and we were continually impressed by Rob and his vision and the cohort of co-owners he assembled. We look at the market, and on that front, we were energized by the fan base that had already accumulated and was passionate to bring a club to this beautiful city. And we look at facilities. Where will our players play, and where will their supporting staff train and work? From the moment we met the team leading the Denver expansion bid, we knew this was a market poised to do something extraordinary. And today, that vision comes into focus. Under the leadership of Rob and his team, with the support and close partnership of Mayor Johnson and the city, this stadium will set a new standard for player experience because our players deserve nothing less. As a league, the NWSL is growing rapidly, and because of partnerships and investments like these, we're building a future where women's sports are not just included, but they're celebrated and prioritized. It's not for nothing that the first women's stadium is going to be here in the center of the city, accessible and prioritized. So in closing, we're incredibly grateful to Rob Cohen, Jason Wright, and the entire Denver NWSL ownership group for their vision and commitment, to the city of Denver, including Mayor Johnston and Councilwoman Alvidrez, and for believing in the power of women's soccer, as well as our partners at Populous and CAA Icon for bringing this dream to life. And finally, to the fans, to all of you, thank you. We know you've been waiting for this. We can't wait to see this stadium full of people and energy and passion when Denver NWSL takes the field. Thank you for being part of this historic day, and thank you for being part of the future of women's soccer.
Sarah, that had me energized just thinking about the community and the league and the city coming together with the same vision. And that's what we're really seeing here. So thank you. And it is the leadership that Denver has brought together, which has been so instrumental in making this stadium project a reality. I'd like to now welcome a dedicated public servant and advocate for this city. She has been a strong supporter of bringing this transformative investment to Denver and ensuring it benefits the entire community. Please welcome Denver City Councilwoman Flor Alvidrez.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. Buenas tardes. My name is Flor Alvidrez, and I am the councilwoman for Lucky District 7, feeling extra lucky today on this matter. I am a daughter of Denver, and I remember growing up in District 7, where I now live, and looking up at this enormous factory. And it felt like a wall that separated have and have not. It sat along a line that historically has divided community. Remnants of redlining and industrial pollution that has left scars in our neighborhoods. For decades, this site has symbolized the loss of opportunity and a space where generations once worked to build their future, but later became a vacant reminder of an economic shift and social and environmental injustice. Today, we're reclaiming that history. The new National Women's Soccer League Stadium at Santa Fe Yards, or as we all know it, Gates Rubber Factory, it is more than just a home for a professional team. It's a promise to all of you. It's a promise to all of Denver and to our community. It represents a new era of economic development, connectivity, and opportunity for those who have long been separated by highways, forgotten industrial sites, and railroads. We are not just connecting the east and west side of Denver, we're also linking the north and south side of Broadway, strengthening a vital commercial corridor that is essential to our city's economy. Sports have always been a powerful force for community, and youth soccer will be at the heart of this development. For our kids and families, having a world-class city means more than just a game. It means mentorship, leadership, and lifelong opportunities. We know that young girls who play sports grow into women who lead. And as a mother of a young boy, he needs a lot of leaders to look up to. This is our chance to correct historical wrongs and build something at a time where we really need to build unity that will serve our city. And after nearly 30 years of looking at an empty lot and wondering what could be, we now have an answer. And that question is answered with a vision of unity, growth, and opportunity, and a little bit of doing what Denver does best, which is cheer on our home team. Go Denver!
Floor, that was great, and I too remember what used to be, and I'll just say the stadium will look a lot better there, won't it? One thing that Floor and Sarah actually were talking about before, which I want to share with you guys, is this really is for all you guys, all you young females out there, that when you are growing up, you'll just know it's normal that investment in women's sports is the same as investment in men's sports. And so it'll finally be just a normality that sports are sports, and we should really pay attention to what's going on and who we're invested in. So it's cool to see you guys right front and center during all of this. To close out our speakers, I'm honored to introduce a leader in sports investment and a key figure in the Denver NWSL ownership. He is a guy dedicated to leveling the playing field and doing what I just talked about, ensuring that women's sports receive the investment that they deserve. Please welcome Jason Wright.
It is so good to be here on behalf of Aerial Investments Project Level. I'm Jason Wright. We invested in this Denver franchise because we believe that the growth of women's sports fandom, and especially women's soccer fandom, is just simply unstoppable. It's simply unstoppable. And the reason we believe that is what you see in front of you. These girls here represent the next generation of great athletes coming out of Colorado, a state that has already fed the U.S. women's national team more talent on a per capita basis than any other state. And that energy and that history makes for a good fan base and a good investment. But we also invested in this team because of the trust-based relationship that exists between Rob Cohen, the local ownership group, the mayor, and the great leaders of the city of Denver. And that's really important because that trust is rooted in a shared belief that women's franchises should have all the resources they need to thrive as standalone businesses, as we, in turn, take up the mantle of a public trust that drives forward social impact and economic impact for the great city of Denver. And we at Aerial Project Level fully believe in that, and we are fully committed to that mission alongside Rob and the rest of the ownership group. Now, we also believe that sports are still the great unifier. It's one of the few places, and I saw this when I was the president of the Washington Commanders, it is one of the few places where everybody of all demographies still come together behind a common cause. And that's especially true of the NWSL and this team here, because you can actually still get an affordable ticket and show up. It is true. Look around here. This is a place where you're seeing all people of all backgrounds together in one united cause that rarely happens in our society, and at a time where I would argue we need it more than ever. And I also got to see in my time in the NFL that sports can really drive economic impact. And so that unity that I described will be on display at Santa Fe Yards, not just on game day, but year-round. If we do this programming right, which we plan to do, you'll have events across the entire year where everybody can come together in this sense of commonality, right in the heart of Denver, and to drive forward, as a result, the economic growth that's already happening in the Santa Fe area. So succinctly, I will say we are so honored to be a part of this ownership group alongside great people, and we are even more honored to be a part of this community, and we are so excited to see the economic impact and the social outcomes that are going to come from this investment in Santa Fe Yards. Thank you so much for having us here.
Thank you, Jason, and really thank you, everybody that spoke today. It's your dedication and vision for something big and bold that made this moment and this day so special. So can we give it up for everybody one more time? All right, we're now going to open the floor to some questions from the media. If you have a question, raise your hand. We'll bring a microphone around to you. And when you do get the microphone, if you could just introduce yourself, say your media outlet, and then also who your question is for.
It's a great question. So we're still working out the details. So as far as the funding, the simple high-level overview of the funding is the ownership group is going to pay for the stadium, and that is something that we have been committed to from day one. But we're working with the city to really determine the infrastructure that goes around the site, the other aspects that you need in a site and a project of this side. It's a dialogue that we want to have with City Council as well. When I talked about looking forward to the collaborative dialogue, it also includes the neighborhoods and making sure that we take their thoughts into mind. And so we need all that to come together before we can really get to a total price of the development and where it is and who's paying for what. As far as the surrounding development, that too is kind of placeholders at the time. What we do know is that there's a promenade on the side of the park that we want to activate with, as I said earlier, restaurants, bars, retail, so a place for people to gather where we envision, you know, on game day or non-game days, you could have kids playing in the park, mom and dad having dinner or coffee or lunch on the promenade outside a cafe. You could have corporate picnics there. There's all kinds of activation that we can do. And then there's obviously other development. I'm sure the mayor will want to talk about in terms of what else goes on that site and how we do that. And so we're collaborating with the mayor and city council to make that happen.
I think Rob mostly covered it. I would just add that we are excited for it to be a public-private partnership. We think that the city and the taxpayers have an interest in the land underneath the stadium itself being publicly owned, so that long-term there's a public trust and a public holding of that. And so we'll partner to try to figure out how to make that happen together, and that we, as he said, would help support the infrastructure, the roads, the walkways necessary to get access to that space. And we do really believe this is going to be a dramatic catalyst for a development that has sat dormant for more than 20 years, right? And so this will not only bring activity to the site, we think it will be a place to bring housing, it will bring retail activation, it'll bring commercial activation, it's bikeable, it's walkable, it's easy to get to on public transit. So I think this is a great plus for the neighborhood. I think this is why you see the transformational power of women's sports to transform cities, both for the fans and for the neighbors. We think this site will do both.
Daniel's in Telemundo, wondering if the mayor or anyone up there can speak to us a little bit in Spanish about the economic impact and the social impact this would have in the community and the state, as well as the benefit for women's sports. Okay, in Spanish. Thanks so much.
Sure. Mil gracias por venir. Hoy es un día muy importante por gente aquí en Denver porque hoy anunciamos el edificio de la primera versión de un edificio por fútbol de mujeres aquí en Denver. Es un sitio en Santa Fe Yards. Va a ser una organización que construimos juntos con los dueños y también con la ciudad para hacer que toda la gente pueda venir aquí para comer, para caminar, para mirar el fútbol aquí en Denver del Sur. Gracias por la pregunta.
I'll also say some words. Muchas gracias por estar aquí con nosotros. Esto es una oportunidad muy grande por todos los jóvenes en la ciudad de Denver para tener un lugar donde todos están bienvenidos y también apoyar los negocios pequeños. Va a apoyar todo lo que es por el 25 y Broadway. Y es algo para apoyar a toda la comunidad, los negocios, los jóvenes y tener un lugar para dar la bienvenida a todos al distrito número 7. Gracias.
Hi, Dwayne Brown, DNVR Sports. First of all, congratulations. Awesome news. You've got a whole room of girls, students, athletes, fans that are all excited about this announcement, and the stadium is certainly the news of the day. What happens in the meantime? Has there been a lot of talks about a temporary spot while we're creating this great stadium? Where are we at in the process of that you can share with us?
Sure. That's probably the number one question we get right after what's the name of the team going to be. So the answer on both of those is more to come. So we're finalizing the discussions with the training facility site and what's going to go on with that. There will be probably a public announcement in the next 2 weeks, I would think is safe to say. Obviously, if we're going to put a team on the field in 2026, we've got to get going on a lot of things in terms of the training center as well as the temporary stadium, as well as staffing the team and actually getting players. So all of that's got to happen. I'll be the first to admit that as the league kicked off this weekend, I kind of had a oh my God moment. Like in 12 months from now, we have to have a team on the field and be playing. But the ownership group, which many of them are here, I should have introduced them earlier. So they're standing over here, part of the ownership group. So Molly Kors, Nalima Josie, Jan-Erik Borgen. I'm sure there's others in the room. Thank you guys for being here and for being part of this group. Yes. If I missed another owner, I'm totally sorry, but we've got a lot of work to do. But suffice it to say, we're heads down and getting it done. So.
Hello? Okay. This is for Councilwoman, I'll address Rob or Mayor Johnson. Can you speak about how Santa Fe Yards kind of pulled ahead in the process to become the leading site for the stadium, and what kind of stood out among that site among the other stadiums?
We looked at a lot of sites around the city. Our real priorities were what Rob stated. We wanted the stadium to be in Denver. We wanted it to be centrally located in Denver. We wanted it to be in a place where it could catalyze a real neighborhood of development around it. So it wasn't, as Rob said, a stadium with 50 acres of parking lot around it. It was actually a community redevelopment. We wanted it on public transit so that people could get to and from it easily. And we wanted it in a place where we had open space that needed redevelopment. This hit all of those activations. This also is a unique site because it already has structures for public investment through tax increment financing that often stadiums or stadium districts often use for their financing tools. And so this really was unusual in the number of boxes that it checked for us in terms of all of our top priorities for how it activate communities. But I'll turn it over to Rob or Councilman Alvitos if they want to add.
All I can say is District 7 was the perfect space. You gave it up earlier, right?
I don't know that I have more to add to what we talked about earlier. I would just say initially our concept when we found out about the park being a big part of the project and the site. So keep in mind, this is a 42-acre site. We're only talking about the northwest corner of that, which is 14.3 acres, and there's additional acreage around it that will be part of the development. We were concerned about the park and fitting everything in, but the more we played with it, we saw the park and the stadium and that interaction that I talked about earlier as a major positive factor for really creating the placemaking and community building that we want to do. And so we embrace that. And one thing you'll notice from the renderings is that it's open to the park. And so even on game day, people will be able to see in from the park. That's done from other successful stadiums around the country where they have this aspect of how they interact with the community even during games and events. So there were a lot of those factors, plus everything we talked about earlier, the mayor and the councilwoman said, but everything just pointed to this site.
Okay. All right, thank you all for coming today for such an historic announcement. I did recognize while I was sitting here is a lot of you guys have your jerseys on. Who has Sophia Smith or Mal Swanson or Lindsey Horan? I see a lot of U.S. jerseys. Yeah, raise those hands up. We should be proud of our Colorado girls, right? Yeah, there we go. But I love that. You guys are all decked out. And I will say, you all did a really good job of sitting there this whole time. So can we give it up for these young women of gals? We are just so thrilled to see this level of enthusiasm and support for Denver NWSL. It means a lot to us. Be sure to visit denvernwsl.com to stay up to date on everything happening. And if you haven't yet, go get your season ticket deposit, everybody, at denvernwsl.com. We can't wait to see you guys at a game, just as Rob Cohen just said, 12 months from now in 2026. It's going to be so much fun, and to see you in Santa Fe Yards in the not too distant future. This is just the beginning, everybody. All right, so speakers are going to have you guys stay up here for a quick photo break, but that concludes everything. Thank you guys so much for being here. Really, it means a lot.